Awesome. So we're moving on very quickly. And while she was speaking, we had the privilege of having another of our speaker walking in person of Mr. Femi Bejide. Thank you so much. I mean, he came in, you know, in his own way, and we love it. Right. Thank you so much for coming here. And we cannot wait to have, you know, to hear you speak to us this beautiful afternoon. Please use the hashtag, tweet your C.L.E.A.N Conference experience. Remember to use the hashtag. All the hashtags have been put up on the screen. C.L.E.A.N Conference 2025, hashtag C.L.E.A.N Talks 2025, hashtag C.L.E.A.N 2025. Number 3. Yeah, these people on this side always pass the vibe check. Celebrate them, celebrate them. Only these people, oh, celebrate them. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'd like you to welcome with me the dynamic Mr. Femi Bejide as he speaks to us on the future-ready professional. Can you celebrate him?
Thank you so very much for the opportunity to be here. I do not take this for granted. This is an exceptional conference. It is one that, even though I didn't attend the first one, I've had the opportunity to attend several other conferences that has been organized by my sister here, and I'm super excited to be here. And, you know, before we get right into it, please, I would like you to do something very important for me, you know, and, you know, the way I'm dressed now, you know, I'm going to be giving you instruction. Yeah. Because, you know, the only thing that I have missing here is my Rukere, right? And if I had brought it, I won't be able to press the... And, you know, I hope when I'm giving the instruction, there's no soldier. There's no soldier here, so I can say, do this, open the door, you know, stuff like that. You know, so please, I would like you to stand up and give an incredible, I want to line all the adjectives now, incredible, resounding round of applause to this incredible woman. Oh yeah, the people on that side, oh yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, it's not easy to... Everybody can sit down except that man. You know, but you know why I say he's the only one that is like rivaling me in this... Fantastic, you know. So I see a lot of beautiful faces here, incredible faces. I see people who are not just here to attend just a conference and just check it. I see people who are here to get impacted, that to make themselves change agents for this generation. Congratulations to everybody who's made it here today. I congratulate you. You know, and you know, I was saying that it's not easy to organize a conference. Very expensive. This is the number 4. And I said to her that the 5th one, I know the way Kaka is taking that one. You know, me, I'm not following her in that one, but we said we are doing a 5,000-man conference in the hotels and suites. That will happen definitely. We have no doubt about it. The kind of growth that we've had, you know, from the days of the 80, I really celebrate you, sister. You know, congratulations again. You know, so I would say that, you know, I was saying that it's not easy to organize a conference. The other day, my team, you know, we wanted to organize a data conference, and they sent me the budget. When I saw the bill, I was like, conference, la feshio. And, you know, I said, you know what, just go first. And I'll say, you know, I will send it to AI. AI will help me remove all those unnecessary. So when I put it inside one of the AI platforms, you know what Kamaru will return to me? You know who Kamaru is? Kamaru Omale Jati. You know what I call that? ChatGPT. That's what I call ChatGPT. ChatGPT double the price. And now converted it to dollar. I just called my guys, okay, we'll do the conference, but let me deactivate my account on GPT, please. So it's not easy to have a conference, and this is ongoing, and, you know, we wish that it get bigger. So let's just jump right into it. You know, I've been asked to speak on the future-ready professional. You know, and I think that the conversation about the future, in fact, I don't even know what the future is again, because when you plan about the future today, as you wake up tomorrow, you'll be like, this, I was thinking this would be like in the next 1 year. So like, when they said that 1,000 years is like what, a day, AI has made that to actualize in our lifetime. So it's no longer scriptures again, it's happening in real life, So the future is very, very rapid and, we'll be moving very fast in it. So, I'll be speaking on the future of the professional. I've said the stories, the questions, the answers, and it will be over the next 30 minutes. I'll try to make it as conversational as possible. And I will seek the indulgence of the organizers to make a microphone available in the audience, if possible. I would like to ask questions because, for me, as my favorite of all time, the biggest or the greatest quote for me of all time, he says that questions, not answers, create knowledge. That's the balance. Anybody who's been in my office, before we start anything, the first thing we say is questions, not answers, creating. About Orimo Gunje. It's true. For many years, I used to when I found out that they said the guy's brain was bigger than most people, and then some of my friends used to tell me that my head is big. So I used to say, you don't know anything, I'm very brilliant, that's why. Until I found out that it's because my mommy did not press my head very well. You understand? So Albert said, questions, no answers, create knowledge. So we're going to be asking a lot of questions today, and I would like that we make it as interactive as possible. So the first question I'll be asking here is that, how many of you, please take, this is a very serious question, I'm not joking. How many of you have eaten bat before? Bat? Adon? Oh, bat, eating bat. Hey, excuse me. I know that in Nigeria we are eating bat somewhere today, have you? You know the bat I'm talking about. It's not that bat that we are eating as a country. Right, not that one, yeah. So, Adon is very, very sweet. Well, that's what my grandmother told me before she died. You understand? So, I've not eaten it before, but of the other two pictures here, we have the duck. How many people have eaten duck before? You have eaten duck now, you have eaten duck. Even if you have not eaten the main duck, there's the duck egg. You know that egg now, you'll have eaten that one now. Do you understand? We have not eaten that one again. Plus guinea fowl and duck is the same thing. As far as I'm wearing my native ear, anything I tell you, just accept it like that. And then the last one, very rare animal. It's called the pangolin. You know the Yoruba name? You don't know the Yoruba? Aka. That means because of the nature of the coils, that's his defense mechanism. So on this list, this first, number 1 and number 3, are the ones that, in the animal kingdom, he said, we are the ones that are the survivors. We have certain skills that nobody has. Adon and Aka. So follow that my story. So these two formed a political party. Let me use the term of my sister. They form an association, the Association of the Survivors. Every now and then they will have meetings, and say, how far, what's happening in the animal kingdom? The next election, will it be the bat that will win the election, or will it be a Pongoli, Piogolin, the other one? That will come. So they always have that conversation. But on this particular afternoon, they sat down together and said, let's have a conversation on our own career, how we are doing, And I'm going to tell you the story. And it's based on what I say now that will make me know, how old people are in this place. So when I say something, you will respond to me the way you know how to. So story. So there are many Jimmy Sholanke generations. Once upon a time. So I had this very wicked uncle one time. anytime he comes back from war, he used to stay with us, and we say, story. So one day, now say, these children will kill me. Oh. So we now said, story. He now said, once upon a time. We see time. He just said, I keep saying time, once upon. So we kept saying, once upon a time. Until we said like 500 times. He didn't tell us the story. We slept off on the ground. You understand? So these guys, started having this conversation. Please, next slide. So the wise bat, I'll call him like Adon. And Don was, invited on the Iroko tree. The English one is Baobab, And in that normal afternoon lunch, and, below him, Aka was there, They started having that conversation, He said, Adon said, my friend, the world is changing. We must evolve, pick up new skills. You must climb faster, dig smarter, learn something new to survive. Aka said, evolve care. Why? Calling into that lazy ball, he called back into a blog. He said, I've survived exactly like this for 1,000 years. My father before me, my father before my father. All we do is we roll into a ball and we survive. And he said, I have hidden this way. It will always work. Just like, and the bat shook his head and said, sometimes what worked yesterday will not work today or tomorrow. The Aka just said, what is this my friend saying? He said, he ran his hand over his scale. The Aka has a lot of scale on his body and said, tomorrow is the same as yesterday. Then one afternoon. By the way, those two animals, in the animal kingdom, lion tried to eat the pangolin, he could not eat it, the birds. So they were perfect for the animal kingdom. But one day, another kind of animal came into the jungle. The animal was not crouched, he stood straight. He was walking on two legs. They called the animal humans. So the woman walked upright, whispering excitedly. They had not seen anything like this before. They were pointing to Aka and said, what kind of animal is that? They came very prepared with bright, greedy eyes. They had discovered him, his skills, the rarity, and the mystery. Then became the battle. The pangolin, as he has done for 1,000 years, quarreled immediately, very confident that, like the 999 battles before, this one would not be an exception. And then they fought very hard. They fought. The two things that the pangolin does is that it calls into a ball and releases a very odious smell that if you are near it, you almost die. So he went into his normal mode and started coiling. The humans came with arrow, the shot, he repelled, and then they brought out a gun. They tried to load, it didn't work, and they fought and fought. Perhaps Adon the bat was wrong, because he resisted that fight to a point where it looked like the humans were like, it looks like this guy is too hard for us. Can we move on to other animals? Until, next slide, please. I saw one advert, deep for SCD. You know what jerky is now? The fastest selling jerky in Walmart is the pangolin jerky. You can buy two, you get one free. Sold by Shaquille O'Neal Foods. Next slide. Meanwhile, Adon the bat, who was not a one-trick pony, moved from rat mode into flight. And moved from where? Abeokuta. To where? Wuhan. Is that not? I think it was Wuhan, that one that we did in 2020. It moved to China. And then some of them in Donre. And then survived. Next slide. The end. Okmi, the end is what? Okmi cinema. So, what is the moral of this story? Please, I need 3 people. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Do we have a microphone in the... Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, once again. So my name is Passionate Chamaka. So the moral of the story is the future of work is changing fast. And to thrive in the workplace, you have to evolve with the change. Thank you.
Thank you. Did you say passionate? Like, that your name is powerful. I'm like... I get it now. Thank you very much. The next person, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Optimistic Oluwaseyi. All right, so my lesson from this is that people learn from problems and they create new solutions to existing challenges. The moment challenges are consistent, new solutions to tackle those challenges are created. Thank you.
There's one of my engineers in the office that sounds like this. Anytime the guy raises his hand like this, you just say, this guy will finish us today. Well, nice one. The last person.
Okay, hello everyone. Resilient Temitokwe. So I think the summary is evolve or die.
Evolve or die. That's a great one. Fantastic, fantastic. So I think the lessons, everybody here got it right, you know. But because I am a physics graduate and, you know, a very good one at that, you know, I want to translate this from physical laws. Next slide. Lesson number 1. Newton's first law of motion. How many people did science in secondary school here? Okay. This law states what? A body will continue in a state of rest or uniform motion in a straight line, except what? External force. In 2025, let the external force that is moving you as a future-ready professional be from inside. Do you see what is the external force? You have to generate it from where? Inside. Because the external force that is outside, it will jam you anyhow. When AI came around, you know, people were saying that there were a lot of guys that started working on the concept of this even before it became very mainstream. A lot of disruptions have started happening. A lot more disruptions are going. You don't understand this thing I'm saying. I happen to run one of the most successful data companies in Nigeria, and I see the data real time. The disruption that is coming will be very massive. You have to start making those adjustments from inside. I will be talking about it later. That Oju, you must have it all. Because if you miss the boat, you know that Noah's Ark story, you miss it all. Because things are moving very, very, very fast. Next slide. It's like the old ways no longer work in the career ladder. You know, it says that careers are shifting every 4 to 6 years. Before, if you, let me use a typical example as you are in school, you say you studied accounting. From there, you say you do ICAN. From there, if you are lucky, you say you go and do CFA. You do this, and then you are sure that that trajectory, at least once you get into the place, you get rewarded for it. Now, as you are starting the ICAN, the industry might even have, they might, because I know my sister here is in that space, so I don't want her to punch me. Let me just stay back. Before you finish ICAN, there might even be no industry again, safe. You understand what I'm saying? So, 4 to 6 years. The 25-year industry's evolution is crashed to like 4 to 6 years. So you have to move very, very fast. You have to constantly be evolving. Number 2, the skills that you need. World Economic Forum says that 70% of the skills required for existing jobs will change. All the people will be changed. 70%. That's about 7 out of every 10 people. We have to evolve very, very quickly. Number 3, degrees. Please, degrees, and now you go to school to go and collect, will be replaced by skills portfolio. It's happening already. Please, pardon my French in down there. Nobody gives a what? Pum, 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 about the degrees. Pardon my pum, pum, pum French. It is very important that you understand that degrees are not what matter anymore. In the next couple of years, when you want to send your CV, if you put that I went to, except UI, if you remove UI from that list. How many greatest UIs are here? 1, 2, 3. All these other schools are just trying. Let's just manage. Let's just leave them. Let's just leave them. Degrees, what people want to see on your resume will no longer be I went to. You just start listing, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. CVs will just be by name, phone number. Start, I can do this, I can do some people have perfected the art of CV. If you see some CVs, I saw one CV on my desk the other day, say, like the graphic design was solid. Masters, this one. This guy will need share more. You have to list it based on your skill set. That is what is going to happen. Things are changing. Next slide. Things are changing so fast. I'll give you an example. Interestingly, in 2007, I made my first 1 million in stocks. I lost it in 2008. So, yeah, so I didn't have that one, for effect. They say we should be packaging yourself very well so that you just say, stop at the I made. Don't tell them that your cloth is bent down. So that's why I didn't put it on the slide. My broker's name was called John. John was a very smart man. If you ask him, John, place the trade on this one. Pa, pa, pa. John has done pa, pa, pa. I used to call him the Oracle. Jibi Jibi. Ejanla. Can somebody complain that Ejanla don't be what? There's no James. Don't do be banger. You've forgotten that one again. Anyway, 10 years later, NSC released the trading portal. Yes, I'm trying to explain to you how technology is changing. And then I stopped calling John because I could log in and do my trade myself. So his name changed from Oracle to broker. I just say, hello, John. And my broker, well done. Don't worry, I'm on it already. Then, yesterday, apparently I arrived from Abuja 1 a.m. yesterday. And as I arrived, I got a notification from where? My AI bot that it had placed a trade. You know that the market moved a few days ago. It had placed a trade on Oando and had given me a 15% margin on it. AI bots. So therefore, what's happening to John? I no longer call John again. So John is now from broker to... Hey, John Torelon, is there any broker in the house? Please, I didn't mean that. I did not play at the play, stuff like that. So the moral is that the industry is changing very, very rapidly. You have to change. The second law, I had the first class in physics, so don't joke with me. I know physics very well. The law of thermodynamics, the first law, is the law of conservation of energy. It says what? That energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It moves from one form to another. So I call it the law of Jack. It's not that jackpot, not that one. It's jackpot from sector to sector. It's not the one you jackpot to. Because I met some people outside who they're already calling their broker to say they want to travel outside the country. It's not that one I'm talking about. The nature of work is changing from bulk to tokens. And I want to emphasize this. I'm beginning to see it. Because the advent of AI and rapidly changing technology, more and more roles, or the number of hours you need to put into roles will be reducing. In UK, a friend of mine called me and said, in their office, they're already tokenizing work, and I explained. It means that rather than you coming to work 8 to 5, because they've automated like 3 or 6 hours of your 8 hours, they're now saying, you're in Chukudi, or you come only between 3 and 5. So what is happening? They are now having work into small tokens. Guys, things are changing. Don't just sit down and be saying that this is my 8 to 5 or whatever you are doing. Things are moving very, very fast. So because of the increased access to AI automation, many jobs will be tokenized. For employers, sadly, the job guarantees that you think somebody will stay a long time is also changing. People are going to be moving very quickly between jobs. So the era where we have somebody stay 10 years, and I'm an employer, and I know how it hurts when you receive like an exit letter, it is going to be happening a lot more quickly. Because when skill is no longer the most important thing, what happens is that other skills that can be traded across multiple companies become what is very important. So people would like to start moving across a lot faster. Once your employer does your eye like this, you say, which one is this one? I beg, I need to do for this place. You move to the next place. Or even be working across multiple companies simultaneously. Things that used to be taboos is now becoming a normalcy. Number 3, Einstein's mass energy equationomics. E is equals to what? MC squared. You know what that means? Size no longer matters. The last time I heard this thing, there was one head man inside the bus, Michael. You know those guys that will give you Gugunishi, all those kind of things. That's when you mentioned that, but I will not talk about that. That's not why I'm here. Smaller teams will start having bigger impacts, which means that I will stay on the positive side. You can start something today with a small team, empowered by AI, you can go global. In my company, we are releasing one of the most profound AI platforms. And the guys that we are targeting as our competitors are global. They have over 550,000 employees, maybe 5,000 engineers. With my team of maybe 15 or 20 engineers, I'm able to achieve, and I'm pointing in their eyes, I'm saying that we have retired you guys. AI, without that, I would have not been able to achieve that. So smaller teams will be having global impact very quickly. So, like I said, size no longer matters. So how do I prepare for, as a professional, for the future that is already here? There are 2 key areas. The knowledge skills, which are like industry-specific skills, and then the growth skills. The knowledge skills, I'm not going to waste much time on it because we all know in different industry what you need to pick up, and many of the speakers that I've seen here have spoken a lot more detailed about it. But the growth skills are the things that are like the soft skills that you need to pick up along the way. I think I have like 5 of them that between now and 2030 that you have to pick up. Number 1, what did I say there? Please, learn AI. I'm not joking, learn AI. And I'm not saying that use ChatGPT to check. No, not that one. Like, look at the entire stack of AI applications, use cases. Begin to immerse yourself in it. Your life or your career might depend on it. The level of disruption that is happening. I literally collapsed a team of about 8 marketing guys to 2. When they themselves, I don't even know why they did it, they used them to shoot their own self in this thing. They used one of these AI tools to generate videos. When I saw the video, I saw the one that they produced before now. I just called the HR to one corner and said, that means we don't need this many people there. AI, with the applications of it, is changing things. You have to set a 12-month calendar for yourself. Very, very important. A 12-month calendar, what are the stacks that I need to pick up? Invest money in it, pick it up. It is very crucial. Find a way to integrate it into your use cases at work. Do not miss it. That is the only thing I will say about technical skills. The next one that I'll be talking about very quickly is that, before I talk about the technical, finish talking about technical, is that where are we globally on the AI downwind scale? So that we know that it's still early days, so it's not too late for you to pick it up. We are still on number 2. I know in Africa, where are we in Africa on that downwind scale? We are not on the scale. We are not yet on the scale. So it's still a good time to jump into it. That's the moral of the whole stuff. Jump into it now. Because, like I said, 1,000 years is like a day. Before you snap like this, things have moved. Next slide. The next most important thing is your SQ. I like the way Olayinka mentioned it the last time. Very profound. It is SQ, not IQ. You know, some people are just carrying their head like this. They're using their hand to support their head that I'm powerful. All that will mean very little. Because your social skills is the new currency. And you must hone that skill very deliberately. Network like your life depends on it. I'm like literally, don't say like network because your life depends on it. You know what I mean by network? This event is great. Some of you just finished, go, papa, you've gone. I'm talking about meaningful 5-man bodies coming together every other weekend. Set aside a part of your budget, 15%, that's what I've done. My income, I'm hosting between 10 and 15 entrepreneurs every fortnight. Do you understand what I'm saying? We'll gather, we go and eat, we play, we talk. We talk about business, we gist about other things, politics, who is going to win, this one. The next set, I'm deliberate, I invite another batch. Networking is the only currency that will solve, because what is here that the IQ will not matter as much, because AI can do most things. So it is the network of friends that will say, this guy is my guy now, let me take him to the next place of work. Let me take me to this thing. He will only promote who you like. So you have to build that relationship very quickly. Improve your communication skills. I won't say much about it. Communicating is your new oxygen. The next slide. I listened to a video from one of the founders of A16Z. For those who don't know, A16Z is one of the biggest VC companies in the world. They invest in startups. And one of the partners said that in 2025, if they see a tech founder or a tech team that has great technology, and another team that has less technology but better distribution, that they will invest. You know, that used to be like unbelievable, like nobody will say that, you'll be investing in tech, it's strong tech. No, because what you call strong tech today, by tomorrow morning, AI has rendered it possible for your competitors. So it's distribution channels people are investing in. And how do you create distribution channels? By building strong networks. If I have a product now, I know for sure that I can tell my friend, please, introduce me your company. Let them have it. Please, I call the other. If you don't have that kind of a channel, your product is dead on arrival. You will not attract funds. It says that 45% of VCs say they are more likely to fund startups that are better distributed than others with better tech. 70% of CEOs say that they are more likely to recruit someone with a good influence on LinkedIn. It's very powerful. I won't dwell too much because I saw that other speakers have said a lot about it. Take your LinkedIn presence very, very seriously. 2022, the first capital that I raised in my business, guess where it came from? 2020. I wrote one post that went viral. The next Monday, an investor reached out to me and dropped money. Do you understand what I'm saying? One of my old friends, like an egbon before that, we lost touch. He saw my post. He called me and said, Femi, you guys are doing well. He sent, if I mention the money, you know the kind of money, he said, that your mouth will bend somehow. He sent the money without coming to our office. Do you understand what that means? Somebody sent you money without visiting you. It was like after 2 months that they visited. He said that your social credibility is the real credibility. If you are this key online and people believe your story, then you are the real deal. It is very important to take it very serious. Very, very serious. LinkedIn post, storytelling, go and learn it. We have a master here. She's a great storyteller. I'm also not a bad storyteller. I write good stories on LinkedIn. Make sure you develop your ability to gather influence online. It is the real and the new currency. Autant, full stop. Make sure you build it. It is very important. The next one, which is number 4 point, become an entrepreneur. This is very important. Before, when you go for interviews, they'll be asking you, do you have any of this thing? You'll be using now. If you say you have a side, like you are, and the person interviewing knows that maybe you're organizing a great conference like C.L.E.A.N, you think that is it not is minister, the next position after partner, is it not minister for my friend here? In our place of work, is this C.L.E.A.N conference, is it not a benefit for her? My friends, have side hustle. Do you hear what I said? Have side, in my team, when I do interviews, after I've done the technical, maybe the final stage, and everybody has done, and they said it to me, I don't even bother to talk about anything. Do you know what I ask them? What have you done in your private life? The people that have said they have small houses, I'm selling bags, I give them check. Because I need new leaders, I need leaders in my team. So if you have been able to move 1 naira to 2 naira before, it's likely that you'll be able to move my own 1 naira to become 2 naira. The paradigm is shifting. The times when people will say conflict of interest, yes, they say conflict of interest, but people are gradually softening what the barriers of that is. Entrepreneurs are the ones that will rule the corporate world, starting from now. There's an example before us. There are many, many examples. You do not need to leave that your job, but you can still be doing it while you're there. Do you understand that? From 2027, it will be too real. Finally, and I said before, develop Oju Inu. You know what Oju Inu is? Eh? There's one proverb, it says, Oju Inu àti orí mógùn jẹ ló ń payẹ àkàlà nínú igbó àrèmábọ̀. You won't clap for me. What kind of thing is this? Clap for me now. This one. He says, let me translate it literally, that in the forest of 1,000 demons, you need the third eye, and that your mother's prayer is working on your head. That's the Orimogunje, you know. But you need that inside eye to be able to know the seasons and the times. Because things are changing so rapidly, you have to go after the data for your industry. As you are studying about things in terms of your profession, start gathering data. Where is this direction going to? There are many of you that after this conference, within 6 months, you have to consider changing your industry. Because that industry, if I give you some data here, that industry in another year might not be no more. So you need to be months ahead, and that is that insight that you must gather. Seek insights as aggressively as you seek knowledge. That third eye, let it pop up on your head. Do you understand what I'm saying? It is very important. These soft skills are very crucial. There's one more that is not on this list. Don't play the short game. I know that is a paradox. The world is moving fast. A lot of us have, especially I see that very common with the younger ones who are growing now. Don't play the very now game. Play an intermediate to long term in terms of your relationships. Invest in people. Sow into their lives. It will come back very quickly. It is like they said, cast your bread upon the waters. After some days, what? It will come back to you. It will come back, after a few days now, it will come back very quickly, but make sure you sow into people. It is very, very, very important. Finally, whatever you do, keep learning. Keep moving. Thank you very much for your time.
Awesome. Wow. It's how we can stay seated in the room and no one feels sleepy. Everyone is catching a lot of moments. It tells you that this is a conference that you should actually add to your calendar for 2026. Got it? Okay, so we're moving on and we're about to have our final speaker for today. Definitely not the list, but because we always reserve the best, we reserve the last for the best, right? And she's going to be sharing with us key lessons. How many of us want to learn key lessons? You want to take something with you that I know that we've picked up so many things here today, but this session, right, after this session, we're going to be moving on quickly to our panel session. So it's important that you please scan the QR code. That's a Slido. Put in your questions. Like, it's important to also note that after we're done speaking, you might be fined if you decide to go and ask one of the speakers a question after we're done, right? Because they're going to be on this, they're going to be here in this room answering all your questions. So I really want to encourage everyone, please use the Slido QR code that has been projected. We may not be able to take questions from the audience. So if you have any questions, right, this would be a good time for you to put it up, right, in the Slido using the QR code from Slido, and then we would move it going forward. Like I said earlier, please use the Slido QR code, putting all of your questions, because we're going to, we have our bouncers ready to stand in a way so you don't meet any of our speakers in person. But that's on a side note. But please put up your questions. They would answer it to the best of their ability. It defeats the purpose if you're not, putting your questions down, you're waiting to meet them personally. Trust me, they have so much to do for the rest of the day, so they would most likely be leaving here to attend to other things. So if you have any questions, do yourself a favor, put it on use the QR code, and then we would attend to it as quickly as possible during the panel session. Are we ready to receive our final speaker for today? Number 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, let's go. Clean, awesome. Celebrate yourselves once again. Beautiful. So without further ado, I'd like to bring up the amazing Oluwaseyi Elumaro, who will be speaking to us today on key lessons in her career journey. By the way, she's a partner at Ernst & Young, so please celebrate her.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. As introduced, my name is Seyi Elumaro. And it's a great honor to be here. And first, I want to say a big thank you to Olayinka for having me, and to all these very wonderful speakers. And when you now have like 4 incredible speakers that have spoken before you, you just come and say the grace. Then we close the section, everybody have a nice lunch, and you're on your way out. But regardless, I've been tasked to share with us key lessons from my own career journey. And as it's been said, is my story. So I'm trying to own my own story, and I will tell it my way. So initially, I didn't want to be an accountant. And I don't also intend to bore you with this story. It's just to bring out the impact and the learning in it. But at some point, I wanted to be a doctor, largely because I feel, I like to help people, help life, and primarily because my mom was quite asthmatic, so she visited the hospital a lot. So I wanted something that would just, to be of help in a way. And along the line, I started going to school like every other person did and all that. So along the line, I also got ill, and I was on admission for a long time. So I didn't like the smell of the hospital, the sight of blood. Apologies to the medical people, you're doing a very fantastic job, but it's just not the calling of some of us. I didn't really like that, and I began to think, that began to shape my career perspective, even at a very tender age, just 9 or 10 at the time. And I said, this thing cannot be for me. You just see somebody just vomit, I'm like, let me borrow from Femi. Femi used a lot of Yoruba language, so there's a pass. So I'm just tailgating on that pass now. So I'm somebody that you almost say onirira, like you get irritated easily. So I'm like, this one cannot be for me. So in my head, I started shopping for an alternative career, even that one that I had not started. So along the line, I went, on holiday with one of my uncle. He used to work with Coopers and Library. He was staying at Surulere at the time. So the others are already nodding. We know them. All right, so Coopers and Library is one of the firms that eventually merged to form the new PwC, PricewaterhouseCoopers. So you just see, he was living a comfortable life. He's so discreet. It's just the discipline, how he would have his, his outfit, well tailored, well ironed. I'm like, this is just looking very classy. Maybe it's the kind of profession that I want to do, but not so much thought was given to it at the time, because most of the time the wife would come in, they would just this, oh, what about client saying, what about that, your client, blah, 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 blah. So you just have those kind of random gist. You hear them, you giggle, and you are hearing different stories. So I think I didn't realize that a seed has been sown, and attraction was already there for me to be in public practice. Then, maybe about 4 or 5 years down the line, other things also was influencing me at the same time. So it was also the media. Even though in our own time, TV didn't start until 4. But I like broadcasting. I like the fact that you see on TV the likes of Ruth Benemesia, Opia, Bimbo Roberts, Siri Stoba, so many of them like that. So I felt, oh, maybe it would be mass comm. You know? So I went straight when we were specializing. I went into arts class. I loved literature and all that, so we're doing all of that. Why am I sharing this story? In the long run, I came for another holiday with my uncle, maybe another 4 years down the line. They had moved to Gudu. And it was just, he had not called me to sit me down, to share stories about his profession, but indirectly was making a very significant influence on my life. You know, I just saw that there was growth, it was providing solutions. It's still this gist around, you know, client, what he's doing today, what he's doing next. And I'm like, I want to just be like that. But to me, it was looking like it was late, because I didn't even also know at the time. And by the time eventually I was specializing, so I have an elder sister that was a year ahead of me. So she got the JAM form first, and then it used to be a booklet. So there will be a combination of courses that can land you in a particular thing to study while you go to the university. So she just randomly finished filling and dropped, you know, that booklet. So I just picked it. And I went straight to accounting. I'm like, what combination do they even study? Because in my head, you know, you just have to have done financial accounting to be able to be an accountant. And I just saw him there. Economics and government. I'm doing economics, I'm doing government, I'm doing literature, but I know these two will get me on that track. I said, okay. And then you used to have counselors in school to advise you about courses, blah, blah, blah. He said, yes, but you are good in literature. Why do you want to do that? I'm like, I think I'm finding another passion for this. And I'm a numbers person because I like maths, even though I didn't do, what is it called? I didn't do financial accounting in school. So that was where the journey started. So let's go back to the reason why I'm sharing that. Is the fact that somebody else's, you know, your own career outlook has been influenced by somebody. But you do not know, and you will always, and I say it very intentionally, you will always underestimate who your own career journey is impacting. I've never met any of the broadcasters. I could have ended up as one. My uncle has never sat me down to tutor me to say this is the way to go about it. Yet he had that level of significant influence on me. At a point I thought I was going to be a doctor. It was an influence coming from my mom. So as you build your careers, bear that in mind. The way you show up, you know, is influencing somebody directly or indirectly. And somebody else may be making a life-changing decision just by looking at you. So a lot of things have been shared in this room, and in fact, it's almost like everybody picked from my notes. And I should be asking Olayinka, what did you do to my note? Did you circulate it and make it public? Because almost everybody said one thing or the other that I had noted down. So bear that in mind. And when we are also building career, there's a scripture saying that says, do not belittle the days of little beginning. So you have begun in a way. And all of these conversations that we are having in this room is to shaping that career journey, to make it more concrete, to make your foundation more solid. And for people that have already built, maybe perhaps you're also looking at reinforcement, new trajectories, bear that in mind. So I started out. And I went to school, did financial accounting, and, well, first of all, I did HND before I did BSc. So I went to Lagos State Polytechnic. I had my ND there. Then I did internship with the firm. That was my first experience with EY. And I was, it's something I loved. I love numbers. I love meetings. So this is now like the aha moment that, me too, I'm now meeting a client. My uncle used to tell stories to his wife around, oh, this client, that client. I'm not saying go and share clients' confidential information, no. But, it's not like that moment that, oh, this is now my client. So the passion for the job, is different. It's like something that you had always waited and longed for. And it's now finally, and the dynamics of also having to serve several clients over industries also helped. Then I went back to school, came back during service year. So during my service year, I sat with a firm in Lagos that is called C.L.E.A.N Co. At the time, the firm was very popular for tax generation, so they call it ARGP, Accelerated Revenue Generation Program. The people they put in that unit to do proposals are largely the people like, you don't want to take them out to meet clients, so you just sit in and be doing proposals. So when I came, not necessarily because they wanted to put me there because I made a distinction, like Tosin, I also had some bragging rights and all that. But it wasn't about that. It was also the pressure of what they had at the time. So many states were now calling them to come and do ARGP for them. So they needed, indeed, more hands. But when I got there, I was like, how are people writing like this? Especially because I write too. So, that attention for details, that spirit of excellence could not just let me say, oh, they will just tell you, this is a standard template. Copy whatever it is, change the name of the state. And I started proofreading, those things, started indexing, you're particular about you cannot write a state with small letter, you're just bringing those values to the table. And all through my period there, I did not do one audit. Not because they don't want me on the field, but they now felt, this is that special strength that was said earlier that this person has, and it's bringing a lot of value to the engagement. But when I utilized that skill the more, at the time it wasn't paying off because you were a copper anyway. But the experience counted years later down the line. There was then an opportunity whereby we had the first MAFA in the insurance sector. And I had a partner there that, okay, we're doing good, the business is fine, it's not so bothered. The proposals that we get, RFP, we would do it. Then I called my team, then I was a senior manager. I called somebody who had also jackpot now and said, let's work on issuing out unsolicited proposals. He said, would we just go there, knock on their door? I said, it doesn't matter. We have dispatch riders that will do it. What did we start to do? We first did a dashboard. We gave it a very fancy name. Look at the names of the ones that are rotating out, whose auditors are due to rotate and stuff like that. And we started reeling out proposals. I think that was the first major shift of visibility for me. And people started noticing, oh, this person likes to do proposal, they like to do marketing thing, they like, they can engage with clients and all that. And because a lot of people, a lot of other firms also were not paying attention to that sector because really they weren't paying so much at the time, But by the time we finished that first round, it gave us a milestone that, it was just like a first mover's advantage and we took on the market. So why am I sharing that? A lot of the time, you are currently in roles that you are undermining, and you think this role is not as important. How much are they paying me, sef? The very day that you give the value of what you're paid for, you have not robbed your employer, you have robbed yourself. You have robbed yourself of the experience, you have robbed yourself of the skill set, you have robbed yourself of so many things that you had opportunities to learn, but that you did not learn because you were too money conscious. By the time you get the right skills, the payments will catch up with it. The values will catch up with it. Because at some point in time, it is not the skills that, it is not the people that you were in the trenches with, trying to help come out of wherever they are, that is going to pay the right fee for the skills that you have acquired. And nobody is going to ask you where you acquired the skills, whether it was a volunteering job. See how much thank yous the volunteers got today. And whether you like it or not, beyond the thank yous, they had learned quite a number of things. It may be it's teaming, maybe it's communication, maybe it's how to put out invite, maybe it's how to do be better protocol officers. Whatever that is, you cannot trade it for money. The right time will come that there will be premium that will be paid on that skill set. Then I went to, so as I was wrapping up, there was an advert. So usually we'll look at the papers, you see the expression of interest, because most times governments will call their own offers expression of interest. So, I was one of the people busy looking for that in the papers. And that was how I ran into advert by the then National Bank. I'm not sure so many people know National Bank in this room. Okay, National Bank was a bank that merged with Wema Bank in 2005. So the then National Bank, they were placing adverts and they were looking for, we call them BAs, banking analysts. So it's more like maybe entry level. I said, this is a good role. And I applied. And from there, they took me on and all that. Even though the pay was good, but there was no satisfaction. And that is why at any point in time, you need to ask yourself, what is my why? Why am I even here? You need to be able to define where you want to be. JB was telling us that he just wants to be leading a listed entity. So what is your why? What is your why? You should be able to answer that question and all that. Eventually, when I was leaving National Bank for EY, I was living at a salary cut too, because the banks were paying much higher than what a professional firm would pay. But I know that there was no job satisfaction. I wasn't fulfilling, I wasn't just fulfilled in that role. And that is why it is also important that at any point in time, you know what is bringing that fulfillment to you. It's not all the time that it would be money. But really, almost always, money catches up with it. Why? Because you would have been very passionate about doing what you love to do. All right, so I'll just talk about these 10 key lessons, and we'll be out of here. So for me, in fact, almost all the speakers, in their own different ways, whether you say it's the God factor, whether you say it's divine providence, you cannot wish away the God factor. As a matter of fact, when I was doing this, I was like, am I over-spiritualizing this? But really, we are first spiritual beings before we are, physical beings. So we cannot wish away the God factor. At any point in time, and this is also not, irrespective of your religion, we all believe that there's a God somewhere. So whichever way you assess that God, hold him there. And you also infuse whatever it is, is leading you into the career that you are building. That is also, that's a factor that is very important, especially because you will get to those difficult times within your careers. I'm not sure that everybody, if anybody ever escaped a difficult phase in their career where they are confused as to what to do. So it is that divinity that will give you this direction that you need to follow. So pay attention to that. The second one is that passion, the driving force of passion. The driving force of passion is very important because it transforms your work. You are no longer now seeing your work as just a routine task. You are attaching meaning to it because something is driving you. Something lubricates the fuel of your journey. It lubricates the wheel of your journey. It makes it a lot more seamless. And something is also fueling it. It's bringing the energy. So sometimes your work is indeed stressful. You're going through all of those stress. But you are still looking at it from the perspective of, I love what I'm doing. And continue to also reassess, am I in the right place? Should this be what I'm pursuing as of now? Femi has told us about how things are going to be transforming, and all that. And you also begin to challenge yourself and your thought process and say, is this why still a why that I'm still living for? Or is it something else that I should be looking at? And it doesn't also mean that we join the bandwagon and start jumping, oh, my friend has now moved to fintech, or they are in oil and gas, or they have jackpot. Everybody's just jackpotting. Permit that. And I'm following. Why are you here? Why are you here? You also need to be able to answer that. The next one is talking about lifelong learning and personal development. There is just no way you can be the best at whatever it is that you do when you are not a lifelong learner. We have just been told that in less than 6 months, the full cycle that we should have taken about 5 years is shortening. 6 to 4 years is shortening and all that. So you have to be learning. You have to know what is happening in your industry, what is relevant for your growth, and also ruthlessly search for them. That is very important. And sometimes it may also be additional certification and skills. So it should not also be so much of the certification than the skill. Because sometimes you go for interviews, people get in your face, they tell you they have a first class and they cannot even articulate or defend that result. So you should be, your skills should actually match whatever it is that you are bringing to the table. Then you also need to do a gap analysis of your technical skills and your soft skills. Olayinka has told us things around visibility, influence. Those are some of the things that would also enhance your personal skill, your soft skill. Technical skills is also knowing what you know and doing it to the best of your ability. Then the next one is talking to us about grit. The power of resilience. The power of resilience. And why is that important? Because you would always get to those phases that are challenging, discouraging. It's your staying power. It's that ability to successfully continue to adapt, irrespective of the challenges and all that. And that also does not mean that when you think that you have outgrown a space, you continue to force yourself into that mode. Then have a solution mindset. That is very important. Stop brooding over problems. You have not been employed to start talking about the problems. You've been employed to start, creating solutions. And sometimes it's not even underemployment alone. Even as an entrepreneur or entrepreneur, you also have to be solving a problem. Otherwise, you won't be needed where you are at. Then leverage on your support system. Support system is so profound. You cannot wish that away in any career. Well, just any career at all. So friends and family, spouses, siblings, friends, nanny, outsource the things that what money can do for you. Outsource it. Don't say you are the one that has to do your laundries by yourself, cook food, drive, drop children off at daycare and all that. You begin to do a cost and, benefit analysis of your time. So the cost of doing this thing by myself and the benefits of doing other things, opportunity cost, just weigh it on a scale And if you can afford it, please do. And don't guilt trip yourself. I think that's especially for mothers. You just feel like, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this, I'm doing this. These children are not having enough of me. Please don't guilt trip yourself. And that does not also excuse the fact that we should be there for our words. Then, collaborate with your team and your bosses. There also is also very important. It's a good kind of support system that you would always need. Then technology is also here. You have planners, you have calendars, you have diaries, you have AI. Optimize the use. Optimize the use. I'm trying to rush. I have a few minutes left. Then, very importantly, you need to drive your career by yourself. Nobody should sit or man the seat of your career. It's an aberration. Otherwise, they just carry you go where you don't know. So if you know where you are going, take the driver's seat. You don't necessarily need to know how to drive a car. But your career, you must be the one manning, that driver's seat. And what does that mean for you? You are defining what you want out of your career. It must be explicit. Write the vision. Don't think it in your head. Make it plain. Write it out. What do you want to do? At what time do I want to do it? When do I want to do it? How do I want to do it? You answer those questions. Otherwise, it's not a plan. It will just be a wish. It's just a desire. Then when you are done doing that, bounce it off people. We've talked so much about mentors here, about coaches, about sponsors. Bounce it off people. Just double check your thought pattern. Let others bring their perspective to it. It makes your goals more robust, more realistic, and it also makes it well-rounded because you're now getting other views, Then begin to work on it. You can't dream and want the dreams to be a reality and you go back to sleep. You have to be grinding. Then periodically also review it. It doesn't have to be that, this is what I want to do and it's cast in stone. No. There are many things, many turns, many curves, but you keep going and you keep still focusing on where you're going. We've talked about mentors in this room, so I don't know you. Okay, I think I can just share one or two words on that. So mentors are there to give you advice. And it's not all your mentors that are physical. Sometimes you are gleaning from other people's books, other people's works, and all that. So mentors are usually behind the scene, even though sometimes you have to physically meet with them. Then coaches are the people that have been on a particular path. They have been there, seen it. They can train you how they did it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're dropping your unique attributes to pick up theirs, but it's just that you see, you can visualize how they have done it, and your own unique way have an adaptation to what you are doing. Then sponsors are the people, leaders in your organization, that can speak for you in the room when you are not there, that can mention you, mention your name, push up your agenda. That is also very important. Then be confident and live authentically. Be very confident and live authentically. To yourself, be true. You don't need to want to be like anybody or copy anybody. We can learn from people. But it's not as though that you then abandon who you are at your core, and I begin to live other people's life. Then your confidence is also not the same thing as being arrogant. Confidence is knowing what you know. Sometimes it's also a thin line between the two. But what we are encouraging these days, is for you to be confident in yourself. No, and honestly, you cannot also be confident without being competent. Competency talks to confidence. Because when you don't know something, you already are shrinking. I hope I will not make mistakes. This presentation they gave to me, I don't know it, so why am I the one that they called? If they called you, they have seen something in you. If they invite you to the table, you belong to the table. Don't dim your own light. Don't excuse yourself out of it. In fact, do it afraid. As they are calling you, can you do it? The answer is yes. How we will do it, we will all come back and figure it out. And by the time you're done, everybody is wondering, oh, we made the right decision. So why is it that you are the last person to give yourself the acknowledgement that you can? And a lot of the time, people see potentials in us that we don't even see. But just take it. Well, if they bring it to you, take it on. Volunteers. And it's not all jobs that has to be paid for. You know, a lot of the time, people will tell me that they're looking for jobs. So in the meantime, what are you doing? I'm looking for a job. You just said you're looking for a job. I heard that. So in the meantime, what are you doing? They're still looking for a job. There are opportunities in their churches, maybe to volunteer as accountants or do this, or planning committee or stuff, because one way or the other, you are learning something. And by the time the skills will come, it would just come out involuntarily. Sometimes you just wonder, where did that come from? And it's from doing all of these things that you believe are not paid for. But you're paying yourself by gathering those experiences. So that is also very important. Then be true to your own personality. Have a personal brand. Have your own values and belief, rather than just acting on the pressure and just pushed up and down by anything that comes. Then don't follow the crowd or the crab mentality. I hope everybody has heard one way or the other about crab mentality. There's a situation whereby you put crabs in a basket or in a container or whatever, and whoever puts it there will not bother to cover it, because they know that they are the enemies of themselves. They will pull each other down. So as one is trying to go out of the basket, the other one will drag it down. They will be on that exercise till they are ready for cooking. Yes. So crowd mentality is crabby. Don't do it. You deserve that unique touch for your career. Then the last thing, which is also very important, is health and wellness. A lot of the time, we don't pay attention to our health. Listen to your body. Take your health seriously. Work out, exercise, move your body. You are not a tree. It's only a tree that stands in a place. In fact, even sometimes the branches and the leaves, they manage to move. So as much as possible, move your body, and it doesn't also have to be anything expensive. Your gym registration, you're in your street, you're in an environment, just work out, move your body is very important. And it also helps your mental health. And your mental health too is something you need to guard jealously. So you have to be very intentional about what you see, what you listen to, what you think and brood about. That is also very important. Then read books. Read books, read widely. Olayinka has mentioned that the only gift she gives to people here, home and abroad. Because I say here, don't think outside of here she will give something alternative. It's books. So read. Read about whatever gaps that you have identified. Read secular things. Read about the economy. Just read widely, and it will help. And there are also very cheap, bits and pieces of things that you can do. Go online, especially if you're also somebody that doesn't drive. You can read physical books. I like to read and highlight and not. If you don't drive or you're joining public transport, you can do all of that. And if you're also driving, you can listen to books, audio books. And I also have many apps that would also summarize books, and you just get the cheap learning from it. Then eat right and listen to your body. That's very important. Sometimes you just say, somebody's slum, and he was not sick. Oh, he was sick. He was sick. He wasn't listening to his body. So let's pay attention to ourselves. Let's pay attention to our health. Let's pay attention to the things that matter. So I will just quickly go to the pitfalls. So for the pitfalls, let's avoid lack of visibility. Olayinka has mentioned that. Then let's not stay in our comfort zone. Growth doesn't happen there. As a matter of fact, the very moment you are feeling comfortable, you should know that there's a time to have a redress of that position. Then pay attention to details, pay attention to what matters. A lot of the time you also get feedback from work let's not personalize it. Let's take the lesson. Doesn't necessarily mean that sometimes those feedbacks are not personal. We know situations like that also occur, but don't take things personally. So as I conclude, I think I will just leave with this liner to say that you continue to be the chief driver of your career. Where are you driving to? Where is it going? You alone can answer that question. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Can we celebrate Ms. Shaya for that beautiful presentation? Can we rise up and just celebrate? That was very well-rounded, wasn't it? Awesome. Please rise up and just, celebrate her. Thank you so much, Ma, for sharing with us, wholeheartedly. Awesome, beautiful. Have we all had a good time? No, still remain standing so we can stretch. She said we should listen to our body. Dr. JB, thank you for rising with us, sir. She said we should listen to our body. So can we stretch and just move a bit? Sitting in a conference for close to 6 hours, you should stretch. So let's do a quick one. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Right, so we're moving on quickly to the panel session. Don't get seated here. So I'll just, for the next few minutes while they quickly set up the stage for our panelists to come up, we'd like the chairs to begin to come up now.